What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and today I am making a very important video because I need to address a few things that have recently come to light, and some very specific people keep wanting me to respond to. You see, historically, throughout this channel, I have very commonly said nobody is breaking down the doors of your home, nobody is going to be force vaccinating your children, and it's true, that has still not changed. However, some very, very cheeky people in the pseudoscience, woo-woo, mystical, stick a healing crystal up your butt kind of crowd have recently been pointing to an article of a very unfortunate happenstance and saying, do you see? You Illuminati Monsanto piece of crap, that this is happening. It's finally happening. The evil empire is here, and they're taking our children. Well, let's take a look at that. The incident began on February 25th when Sarah Beck took her 2-year-old son to the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine in Tempe for multiple symptoms, which included a 105-degree fever. Now, notice College of Naturopathic Medicine, not a doctor's office, a naturopath's office. But it doesn't get as crappy as you might think. Concerned that the boy was suffering from a potentially life-threatening illness, the doctor urged Sarah Beck to get him to the emergency room so he could be tested using methods not available at the naturopath clinic, which is absolutely the correct thing that he should have done. This is a dangerous, dangerous fever. This child needs to go to the emergency room. Now. But Beck resisted, and she said she was afraid she would be reported to the Arizona Department of Child Safety, the DCS, because her son was not vaccinated. I don't know how I can spell this out any clearer for you, but nobody is going to be forcing you to vaccinate your kids. You just simply have to understand that there are consequences for your actions. That's all there is. You're not going to get in trouble because you did not vaccinate your son. You just don't get free public school. And, well, they really need to be kept out of places where they could otherwise infect, immunocompromised children. That's it. That's all there is. This idea that they were afraid that they get in trouble because my son's not vaccinated. Fuck you. Stop listening to people on Facebook that are filling your head full of a bunch of evil empire shit. It's not real. Calm down. The doctor confirmed at the emergency room that they would not make a report to DCS in such a situation. Even the naturopath is like, okay, look, this isn't going to happen. And Sarah agreed to get her son help. The doctor also asked the emergency room personnel to let her know when Beck arrived with the little boy, but she never showed up. At about 6:30 p.m., Beck called the naturopathic clinic again and said that her son started acting normal and was dancing with his sisters in his car seat. So she decided not to go to the emergency room. She also claimed her son's temperature had dropped, but the doctors still insisted that it was best to take the toddler to the emergency room. Beck then asked the doctor if it would be okay to lie to the hospital personnel about her son's vaccination status, and the doctor told her it would not. What? Your kid has a 105-degree temperature, and you're more concerned about vaccinations? Like, your kid could die. His brain could boil. His little baby brain could boil, and you're worried. Fucking... I don't understand you people. I don't. She also warned Beck that she would have to report her to the DCS if she didn't get help for the little boy soon. The doctor attempted to follow up with Beck in the hours that followed, but she would not answer her phone. After calling multiple hospitals as a last-ditch effort, the doctor placed a call to the DCS. And then at approximately 10:30 p.m., Chandler police were dispatched to the 1600 block of West Marlboro Drive at the DCS request. And this is where things get a little fucking crazy. Keep in mind that this whole situation is centered around a little kid being very sick and having a terrible fever, a life-threatening temperature. There really is only one response to this. It has nothing to do with vaccinations. It has nothing to do with naturopathic beliefs. It has nothing to do with your woo-woo crunchy fucking lifestyle. Nothing at all. It has only one singular concern in this. There is a child, and their life is at risk. That's all anybody is aware of. And the best way to show that this kid's life is not at risk is to demonstrate that they are still okay. That's all you have to do. Keep that in mind. The officers were attempting to conduct a welfare check on the little boy, who they were told was suffering a potentially life-threatening fever and illness. Officers were also told that the child's parents refused to take their child to the emergency room after being instructed to do so by a physician multiple times. When they arrived at the residence, they could hear a child coughing and people speaking inside. The parents initially refused all attempts at contact, the CPD said. The father, during a brief telephone conversation with officers, said the child was fine and told the police to leave. Now picture this. You are some crunchy woo-woo family. You're morbidly afraid of getting in trouble because you're anti-vaxxers, which is still, again, not a thing. But then the police show up to your house and they're like, hey, we think your kid might be dying and we need to see your kid so we can make sure it's not dying. And your response is, go away. Oh, he's fine, just go away. Oh no, that has traditionally always worked before in the past. I mean, everybody remembers the legendary account of Waco, Texas, and David Koresh, where he just said, you know what, we're all fine here, everything's okay, you should just go away. Just go away. That turned out perfectly fine, of course.
Hello?
Hi, is this Brooks?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brooks. This is Officer Cassio with Chandler PD. How you doing tonight?
Doing fine. Stop banging on my door and let my kids sleep.
Okay, so here's our problem. Basically, the reason why we're knocking on your door is because we need to check on your son, who...
Okay, he's doing fine. His fever's broke. He's under 100 degrees. He's doing just fine.
Okay, well, we need to see it for ourselves, and...
No, you don't need to.
We need to talk to you outside. So why don't you come outside so we can talk about this?
No, thank you.
Officers repeatedly tried to negotiate with Bryce and Beck through doors, through windows, by telephone, and with assistance of neighbors, a police report read. Meanwhile, DCS obtained a court order giving them temporary custody of the little boy. Officers continued to try to get Bryce to come out and talk with them, but he ultimately told him that he wasn't going to take his kid to the hospital to be settled with a $3,000 bill. Finally, after 3 hours of pleading, coaxing, and warning failed, patrol officers breached the front door at 1:30 a.m. Now keep in mind, this is after 3 hours of them saying, look, all we need to do is take the kid's temperature. That's it. Just need to make sure that the kid isn't dying, and that's it. You're free to go. That's all you have to do. But never underestimate the absolute arrogance of pseudoscience batshit loonies.
All right, announcements.
Chandler Police Department!
Thanks. Hold there, make more announcements.
Chandler Police Department, come out with your hands up!
Now keep in mind, these are officers there with the sole intention of trying to save a potentially at-risk child. So of course, they are enthusiastic about it. And of course, this guy just has absolutely no idea why it's such a big deal.
Turn around. Face away from us. Come out slowly. Who else is inside the house?
My family. How many people?
Consists of who?
3 kids and my wife. Okay, where's your wife at? I'm not sure actually right now. I thought she was coming to the front door.
Moments later, officers called out to Beck, and she came to the front door with a little boy in her arms. DCS took temporary custody of all 3 children, and they were transported to the hospital. The toddler was ultimately hospitalized. Beck and Bryce were both charged with child abuse. Representative Kelly Townsend said that she is concerned that the event permanently traumatized the couple's children, and she said the entire situation was a complete miscarriage of justice and a shame to the state of Arizona. The image is horrifying, she told the Arizona Republic. What has our country become that we can tear down the doorway of a family who has a child with a high fever that disagrees with their doctor? Townsend claimed that if the toddler's illness was actually a medical emergency, DCS wouldn't have had time to obtain a court warrant to get custody of him. What about the parents' rights to decide what's best for the child, she railed. Parents felt the child was fine. Next thing we know, the Gestapo is at their door. Oh yes, the Gestapo. Well, let's examine that argument real quick. There is this idea that people have in their heads that they can claim something, almost like on sovereign citizen level, where if I decide that is what's going to happen for my kid, then that is what's right for my kid. And it's nobody else's business but my own. And that, unfortunately, I have to break it down for you because this is reality, is not fucking true. The actual sum and total of our society taking care of itself is that we have to protect those who are, unfortunately, unable to protect themselves. At times in which a child that cannot actually speak as an adult and enact its own will upon its own situation if a parent fails in that regard, it falls to the community, hopefully the community, and if not the community, then sometimes, unfortunately, even the state. That's how these things go. That's why you're not allowed to perform female genital mutilation in the United States. Oh, does that infringe on your rights as a parent, whether you can choose to do that or not? Well, go fuck yourself, I'm sorry. And for me, really, when it comes down to it, and understanding the scientific consensus of this, that if you have a child that has an at risk of their brain boiling in their skull, a potentially lethal fever, and you choose to just simply not take them to the doctor or seek out any kind of medical intervention, yes, you are putting that child's life at risk. And yes, there's every reason why the community and, if need be, the state can come in and protect that child because it cannot protect itself from you. In a Facebook post, Townsend noted that Sarah Beck is nearly 9 months pregnant with another child. Great. I have great concern that DCS will also take this infant over a misdiagnosis by the doctor, who thought the child might have meningitis when actually he had RSV, Representative Townsend wrote. The parents are correct, the doctor was wrong. However, all 3 children are now in state custody over this, and as soon as this baby is born, I suspect they will take that child as well. Touting her master's in infant family practice, Representative Townsend declared that Beck's unborn child has been irreparably damaged by what has occurred. I know well that this will permanently damage the baby and inflict an attachment disorder on him or her. I call on DCS to immediately return the children who are also being traumatized due to this misdiagnosis. Who the fuck voted for this lunatic? What the fuck? So really, when it comes down to it, the numerous comments that I've been getting over the past couple of weeks because of this story saying, well, what is your perspective now on them coming to break down the door and vaccinate children? Well, first of all, they didn't do that. There was no breaking down the door to force vaccinate your kids. In fact, it was a woman's paranoia over misunderstanding the law and believing all the fear and bullshit that you people pump into her head that made her put her own kid at potentially lethal risk. You did that, not me, not the doctors, not even the naturopath who had the decency to tell her what she needed to do to try and protect her kid, but also checked up on that kid, knowing full well how dangerous you lunatics actually are. So no, fuck you, pseudoscience wackadoo wingnut crunchy assholes. No, I'm not gonna recant. And no, I don't feel any different. They're not coming and breaking down your door to vaccinate your kids. If anything, this is a rare isolated incident, but by no means is it the only one where sometimes, unfortunately, because of your failures as a parent to take care of your goddamn kids, the community or the state sometimes has to step in to protect them from you. Am I being clear enough, or are you going to keep making these fucking comments? Anyway, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Just a nice, happy, fluffy little bit of content for you. Finger licking good. Good old stuff like that. I am going to go calm my ass down with some video games. By all means, check me out sometime on Twitch, twitch.tv/RealJeffHoliday, where I recorded this live, and everybody in the chat is now going, yes, let the rage flow. And we have a good old time. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope your family is well, and they will take you to the doctor when you have a potentially life-threatening situation. Unfortunately, I will be making a video very soon about another situation very similar to this that I'm not looking forward to having to talk about. One of these days, we'll do fun videos again. Anyway, from my family to yours, bye-bye, everybody. Take care.